What is your frequency? So we're energy because we're eternal. We're consciousness in a form of a body, of a human, of a vessel, of this experiential space. Yes. And so the energy of us, the soul space of us, the consciousness of us is vibrating. Yes. It is moving at all times. Yes. And in a human, because we have to kind of break this down a little, because in a human vessel, the frequency can be understood at a different type of focus, because we're taking into consideration the vessel the frequency is in. Does that make sense to you? If you're talking about a star being outside of a standard format, because I have connections all the time, many of you do as well, with spherical beings, orb-shaped beings, shaft of light. Yes, all different types coming in. They are in different form than human. Yes, right? So frequency in these different formats is important to make note of. Why? Because we're in a human format. So if we make note of what is going on with your frequency as you are in the human space of your experience, you'll have more knowledge, if you will, yes, on how to utilize and lean into the frequency of you as the human. All right. So, all right, now, in a human being, your frequency, the consciousness of your eternal being inside your vessel fluctuates as your experiential spaces are also energy and then are, yes, interconnected with you. Why? Yes, because every single thing you experience has some type of alignment or connection to your own energy. And then how we have our experiences, our conversations, our yes, interactions. Yes, yes. How we direct our energy also plays a role in what happens with your frequency. Frequency fluctuates. Yes, this is a powerful key to know. Yes, and if you already know it, to expand. Because, yes, it fluctuates on one condition. you, you. Your frequency is yours to direct. Yes. And this is a really big part of the conversation that we are having more and more now, but was not heard for a very long time. So did that mean it wasn't happening? Was it not being directed? Were we not directing our frequency? Knowingly, consciously, with awareness, I do not think most humans understand they direct their frequency. Yes, and I don't think most humans knew this for a very, very big space of our history. I think further back, actually, in our ancestors, they knew this. I do. I do. I think what we came from, yes, is very different than what we've been told we came from. And I think there was a knowledge there and a, yes, a higher, yes, space of consciousness was flowing in our ancestors. And then there was this gap space where we detoured out of our truth. And yes, our frequency was then no longer being, yes, directed by us individually. Okay. Yes. But now we are back in the director's seat. Yes. Are you with me? Yes. You're so powerful. You're so powerful. We're so powerful when we align ourselves back into that space of knowing, space of being as this divine flow within form. So our frequency is inside of our words. Our frequency is inside of our thoughts. Our frequency is inside of our actions. When you made the action to come into this class or to watch this video, that action of doing this held a frequency, your frequency vibration in connection with, yes, a more direct alignment with your divinity. Does this make sense to you? Yes. Now, there's no judgment in these sentences. Please hear me with neutrality. Hear me with curiosity. Hear me from that space so that, yes, this can flow. Yes, if it starts to slow down and think, well, when I choose this other action that may not look like it's directly aligned with my divine, yes, flow. Am I wrong? Am I bad? Am I out of alignment? Do you see how that can happen with the thought? Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to just make note of, we can choose to remain neutral. So when the thought comes in, we can have the thought, but we don't have to hold the judgment. We can just listen to the thought with curiosity. Well, let's just matter-of-factly listen for a minute. Let's just scientifically allow. I always say this for years and years and years. I think it's a fantastic tool. If you want to take this, take it. I told myself years and years and years ago, probably 15 now, I said, I am my own scientific experiment. Isn't that fascinating to have that thought about yourself? To just be observing yourself, observing your frequency, observing your interactions, observing your experiences, not from judgment. Scientists don't judge immediately. Scientists observe, and they allow many different potential hypotheses. Yes, I believe that could be used here as a word that would work. Theories. So we have that opportunity as well while we're being the new human, that we can just look at our lives, look at ourselves, look at the spaces of all that we are experiencing as if we are the scientist in this divine experiment of expansion. And there are innumerable possibilities and potentials available. Does this make sense to you? So be your own scientific experiment if you choose. Instead of getting caught in the experiential space, and the space is bigger, be the scientist who's created the space to allow the understanding. Does that make sense? All right, now, so our frequency in our human body is a little bit differently than when we're, yes, in what we would understand as our astral body or our light body. Yes, and when would you be in your light body? Well, when you're not in your form. Yes, in transition spaces between forms or lifetimes, you go into a light form because you're traveling in a different manner than feet upon the earth. Yes, and so your frequency is still emanating and doing its thing. You doing your thing. You're just doing it in a different space of being. In a human space of being, you get a whole additional set of amplifiers, of broadcasting capability. Ooh, that sounds fun. Let's look at that. Yes, you have broadcasting capabilities through your human form. One, your body's an antenna. We talked about this before. I grew up in the 80s. We had an antenna hooked to our TV set. If the TV set was fuzzy or staticky, I got to go over there and move the antenna until the picture got better. Yes. Oh, sorry. Yes. And so what we're doing is we're learning that we can move our antenna. We can move our bodies. We can take on certain postures poses, if you will, whatever word you want to use. You see me do this a lot in my energy videos, right? You can do this too. Just trust yourself. Yes, you may want to start simple with your hands together in prayer position. That's a lovely pose, and everybody's quite comfortable with it. And then if you want to, you could allow the hands to open. If you've done AQE, you could allow Acasma flow. You understand the terms, you understand the space. You could then pull the hands out a bit. Just let them do what they want till they find their position. Okay, there you go. Let's try that. When you're holding these positions, your body is the antenna on the TV. You're broadcasting, you're bringing in the frequency of the divine that you are. Yes, it's within you. Yes, and it gets to broadcast out of you like the glorious TV set or radio or whatever we want to think of to help us understand this better. And the dial gets turned and tuned in by you. By you.